Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Kari and today I'm just gonna have a little chat. As you may have noticed, 2020 has just gone to hell in a handbasket. Australia was on fire and then we had like a week where everything was kind of even keel, and then COVID burned the world down, and then we had murder hornets, and then New York's rats went cannibalistic, and then another black man was killed at the hands of a police officer for no good reason. And so we had protests and they were turned violent by the police. Now, I want to talk about this. COVID is awful. Please stay safe. Wear your masks. Wash your hands. Don't be dumb. Enough said, right? As far as racism goes and Black Lives Matter, as I said in my last video, I will post links down below for places you can donate, petitions you can sign. I will also, as always, link my Twitter, which has a whole bunch of different resources, including lifting up Black authors. There are so many good books from Black authors out there, and I will be showing many of the ones that I have bought in June, and I also have several more on pre-order. There is also the town hall discussion I did with several other booktubers over on Bookish Realms channel. I will leave that linked down below as well if you want to check it out. We discuss racism and booktube. It was a pretty good discussion. I do want to say my voice is not the one that needs to be listened to. I will do what I can with what platform I have on Twitter and YouTube to amplify Black people's voices, Black creators' voices, because they are not being listened to and they haven't been listened to for centuries, and that's not okay. With the whiteness of my skin, I get a severe privilege, and I'm not gonna lie, it's lovely, but it shouldn't have ever happened. And now we have to try to fix that. As has been pointed out to me multiple times by many of my conservative family members, it's not going to change in our generation. And no, I know it's not going to change in our generation, but we have to start somewhere, don't we? And this is a good place to start. We can sign petitions to get police officers charged. Whether or not they'll be convicted is a whole other thing that has to do with the attitudes of their juries. This is a bit of a stream of consciousness video, so I apologize. I had a thought and then I lost it going off about that. But step one, I think, is to listen to minorities, and they're not even really minorities. There's more brown people, Black people, than white people, really. But anyway, listen to those not white, at the moment specifically Black people, who are telling you something is wrong and are telling you how to fix it. However, subpart A to that, or bullet point, because I don't know if I'm gonna have a B, don't ask them to educate you. For the love of everything and anything you hold holy, sacred, or just nice, and for the love of their sanity and mental health, do not ask them to educate you. That is your responsibility as a person with privilege. There are so many links out there. Google the freaking books. Just Google books by Black people, Google Black authors, and you will have so many options. Toni Morrison, although I have a whole other thing about her. Not her specifically, but beloved. I don't know. I digress. Google Black authors, Google books by Black authors, Google Black artists, Google Black Lives Matter. Do something to bring awareness to yourself. Do not ask them to do it. That is not their job. Check in with your friends if they are going to a protest or whatever. Don't be patronizing about it, because nobody wants that shit. But just be there for them. You don't have to say, oh, well, I know how you feel, because you don't. I have no idea how it feels to walk around every day and know that I could be killed for the color of my skin, which is the dumbest fucking reason I have heard in my life. Let me just tell you. It's an immutable characteristic, guys. And the thing about immutable characteristics, right, is that our Supreme Court has, over our centuries, all 2 1/4 of them, of existing in the States has said if you're going to discriminate on the basis of an immutable characteristic, like race or gender, well, no. Gender is actually intermediate scrutiny. Race, however, or ethnicity or national origin, all of those are strict scrutiny, which means there has to be a damn good reason for those to be restricted in some way. Or a fundamental right, like free speech, or, you know, the right to peaceably assemble, which is what these protesters are doing. It is peaceable, it is peaceful until the cops show up. They are showing up in full riot gear with armored cars. Yes, there's a curfew in place. Whether or not I agree with that, I don't know enough yet. And admit that. That's another thing for me. Admit that you don't know enough and shut the fuck up. Right? As my colleagues in Olmsted and I would say whenever somebody did something particularly stupid in the courts, shut the fuck up Friday. Just get rid of the Friday and just shut the fuck up. If you don't know what you're talking about, just don't talk. There's an idea. I realize this is a very strange idea to many people, but just shut the fuck up, okay? Go educate yourself. There are so many books out here. I just posted a video with all of these. Go educate yourself about the history of slavery and racism and how we got here and why we're here and how we can maybe start doing it. I genuinely believe that education is a huge first step, because if you don't know where we came from, then we have no fucking clue where we're going, right? So now that I've just spoken at the speed of light, and I may have lost you, but if I've lost you, then fine, come back later. Be aware that you don't know what they're going through. Be an ally and start there. Again, I'm going to point you to the township. Ashley from Bookish Realm pointed out, which I did not know because, again, I'm working on my education. Being an ally is a great start, but you need to be an accomplice by the end of it. An ally is somebody who can, and I'm paraphrasing, so again, go check out that video because she will say it much better than me. But basically, an ally is somebody who can step away when they choose. And an accomplice is somebody who is right there in the thick of it. And that's what we need to be. It's great to start out as an ally, but we need to be working towards being accomplices so that we can help them and protect them until they get to the level of equality that they should be at. This is really quite ludicrous, actually. I also wanted to mention briefly that a lot of what we're seeing now, the NFL apologizing for, did they ban him? Did they fire him? I don't follow the NFL, so I remember hearing Colin Kaepernick's name all the time when he started kneeling, and then he just disappeared, and I'm not really sure what happened to him. But the NFL apologized. A lot of the Democratic politicians were kneeling with kente cloth around their neck. They've canceled Paw Patrol, and apparently they did something with Bugs Bunny and took away the gun from Elmer Fudd. We're gonna start with that one because what the fuck? He's not a cop. He has a gun. It's okay. We're in the States where we have the Second Amendment, which again is a whole other thing. If you want to hear me go off on that, let me know in the comments and I'll do a separate video. As far as Paw Patrol, yes, they are cops, but if you really want to actually do something, then start addressing the Black Lives Matter in the show. Start talking to kids about it early. I've already started talking to my cousins about white privilege and what's going on. Not to any great extent because, I mean, they're pretty young, so they don't really know what's happening. But I can start explaining that in simple terms. And that's great. That is a fantastic place to start. I've been arguing with most of the rest of my family for years about racism and sexism and all of that because we're on opposite sides of the spectrum. So canceling Paw Patrol is really dumb. As far as wearing kente cloth or whatever the other one was that I said, those are performative. They're not enough. That's very nice that you bought this cloth that is beautiful and knelt in Congress, but how about you get off your ass, or more specifically your knee, and go pass a law. Propose a bill. You are in freaking Congress. Propose a bill and work your ass off to get it passed through the House and Senate. Work your ass off so that Trump doesn't get reelected in November. Because if he gets reelected, we are going to go downhill so much faster. Now, I do want to specify, no president is perfect. No president has ever been perfect. He just seems to have gone off the deep end before he even became the man in office. And since he's been there, he's promised a lot, none of which has come to pass. To be fair, that's a good thing. I don't agree with him on anything. I don't. Cheeto Man. One of the women, I think it might have been Ashley again, during our town halls, called him Cheeto Man, and that is perfect. Cheeto Man. Ugh. Anyway, that's another thing. Saying Black Lives Matter isn't political, because the fact that somebody's life matters has nothing to do with whether I agree that we should have automatic rifles in our homes. I don't, but, point being, it's not political to say somebody deserves to live. Yes, maybe they did drugs once, but white people do drugs at a ridiculously high amount as well. And that's another thing, the war on drugs, racist as fuck. It's very interesting to look at all of this. It's not great. It's horrifying because it is all around the world. When Western Europe went and colonized everything, they decided to royally fuck over everybody that wasn't them. It's, at the moment, interesting is the only word I've got. So as I educate myself, you will hear more about this. And if you do not agree that Black Lives Matter, if you don't agree with any of this, then don't comment, just leave. Because unless you want to get into an educated, calm discussion, and you're not going to try to shove anything down my throat, great. I'm not trying to shove anything down your throat either. I'm simply pointing out my views. I am trying to help. I'm trying to amplify the voices of those who are being hurt and oppressed and beaten and killed for no reason. And on that note, I believe I'm going to end this video here. If you have any constructive criticism, helpful comments, other resources, let me know down in the comments below. If you are just here to troll, no thanks. Go away. That's all I got. I'll see you next time. Bye.